We're live. Episode 3 Azerothian Diamonds with Doomelf slash Doomtroll from TehBox. And your current guild is what?
Sup fresh.
Subfresh.
Our
Okay.
yes, sup fresh. Our turn, baby.
This is going to be a fun one, dude, because we've known each other for quite a few years now playing WoW, dude.
Yeah, at least.
Um, so let's see. How do we know each other? How did we meet?
Um, I sold you some stuff in Ironforge one day. I think. I think that's
D-
possibly.
do you remember what
I
it
forgot what
was?
it was. Was it Lotus? Was it? Oh, maybe you gave me Lotus. You gave. No. Oh, I remembered it. It was the Dire Maul book for your weapon.
Oh
That's what it was.
yeah, yeah.
You gave
The
me a ton of
Kelsarar
Lotus.
book. The Kelsarar book. Okay, so we've been playing classic vanilla WoW, I guess since 2018. Well, we met on Chronos 3, which is a private server that launched in 2018, like around March, I think. Um, and did you play on launch?
No. Nope. I started. I think Molten Core might have already been out when I started on Chronos. I heard about it at a birthday party, my nephew's birthday party, and I'm like, fuck it, like I'll get on and play. Even though I tried to avoid the game as long as possible after vanilla, I playing, release of World of Warcraft just because I spent so much time to it on it. I was addicted.
So, what was your prior history prior to K3 with WoW? You
I
you have a big resume actually. You were telling me about it earlier.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit. Uh, Pretty much right around launch of World of Warcraft, I started playing. Um, Leveled a hunter as my main character. Played in some guilds on Warsong server. Joined TehBox and transferred to Stormscale and played there all throughout TBC. Uh, in a guild called TehBox, which I we were one of the like top 40 in the world, I believe, and number one on the server through on Storm Scale that I remember.
Do you,
Uh
do you remember which battle group that was?
no, no clue. So long ago. Uh, but funny story with how Tabax all started. Um, my nephew, whose party I was at, my cousin told me about the game. Well, the nephew, his dad is actually the guild master of the original Tabax that I raided in. And so when I found out about a new classic uh, vanilla private server, I asked him if he wanted to play and join, and he didn't want to get back into it. And I know they rated way past TBC, probably for a few more years, but I wasn't involved in any of that. So I remade Tabax. I loved the name, and yeah, that's where it all started.
Do you know what was the origin of the name?
It was just made up. I nothing
So nothing crazy, and there was no
Nothing crazy, yeah.
hidden meaning. What do you got there, dude? A bottle of
Yeah, it was my birthday the other day.
happy
So
birthday, dude. Happy birthday.
a bottle of Moscato was left over. I'm not a big drinker, so on my birthday I didn't drink too much. Got a bottle left over. Perfect time to whip it out.
Yeah, celebration of your episode. Did you have any other experiences with MMOs prior to WoW, vanilla WoW?
Oh yeah. Uh I mean, RuneScape, I played a ton of that as a kid. Once my guy got hacked and I lost everything, I jumped into the worst MMORPGs on the internet offered back in the day. 2D, just shit didn't work. Nothing like bounced around to all different games. Ragnarok Online, I think, was one of them. I here and
What about
there.
did you do what was the one that came out after WoW? It was like Conan the Destroyer or something, you know?
No, no. After World of Warcraft, once WoW released, that was a dream come true, and I stayed with it. I I was hooked. Nothing ever beat World of Warcraft. So when I quit playing World of Warcraft the first time, after TBC, I never found another MMORPG. I didn't play anything
Yeah.
until I got back into private servers.
Yeah, this is pretty much the same story with me. It quit around TBC release 2007. Didn't play all the way until 2018 when K3 launched. What about other Blizzard games? Did you do any StarCraft, Warcraft 1, 2, 3?
Uh, Warcraft 3, I remember playing a lot with a friend. We would do like what is it, tower defense and those random like mini games, and I don't know. Spent a lot of time on it. That was the only other Blizzard game I ever played that I remember.
So how did you hear about K3? What how'd
It was
you
my cousin was at my nephew's birthday party,
Okay, that's
and
right. So
he,
he
he
was the
knew
one.
about it.
He
Yeah,
knew about it.
he
Okay.
he somehow learned about it, and I was like, Yeah, that sounds nice." And yeah, it was like reliving my childhood dream. It was great.
And you didn't start out as a GM there, right?
uh, Pretty early on, I created a guild, um, and it was frowned upon because people learned that I was an NA guild. So they knew I would be taking members from an already pretty small community on Chronos. Um, Probably around level 40 or 50, I made my guild, started recruiting, slowly built up, pugged our first MC, and after that, we just got members.
Yeah, so you guys were a I was in a guild called NBK, and I think around that time they were doing like some sort of coalition, and they were raiding together because you pulled up some screenshots the other day of a bunch of us in an MC
Yep.
together.
Yeah. Yeah, that was some of our first. I don't know how long that actually lasted. It was so long ago, but
Yeah, I think it was
maybe,
only a few
uh,
raids.
yeah, a few weeks. I could,
Yeah,
because
because
after that we end up getting a lot of members, and a lot of your members were joining us.
yeah, so Amory was the GM of NBK. He had some IRL stuff going on, and he quit. Um, and then you remember Malbatross, so I was playing with
Of
Malbatross a
course.
lot, and he had a slot in Vogue, which was led by Valamir, who
Yeah.
was a character on the server, and it was very competitive, to say the least. Um, and then when a few phases later, Invoke broke up, and then you guys needed a tank. And then I was guildless, so I went over there, and then we
We are
finished.
flying out of Stormwind on the way to Blackwing Lair, and we didn't have tanks for it. I saw you and Malbatross at the flight path, I'm pretty sure, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the dude I sold the sword to, you know. And I've talked to you since then too. We ran into each other, but we already were pretty good friends. I feel like at that point.
So tell me about the leadership and um, structure, I guess, of TehBox at that time. What was it like on K3 on a PvP server?
Um, it was brutal being on a PvP server on such a competitive server, the world camping and stuff, and just trying to get to a dungeon sometimes or a raid is in itself, takes as long as the raid. But the structure of the guild early on, we just did DKP. That's what TehBox did when I was in it. Um, it was easy to do. Sure everyone's will know how DKP works, but we also had like a donation system where you could donate and earn more DKP. Um,
Did anybody take advantage of that and boost up their numbers?
Everyone that was really competitive was donating. Especially one guy named Windforce, I remember. And some of the time he wasn't even doing it for DKP. He was just donating. But
Yeah, Windforce is a pretty big name in WoW. I mean, he's a really good player and he's in the top guild, still playing now.
he was a good guy. He was fun to play with.
Um, did you have any other leadership experience outside of WoW?
Um, Somewhat. Organization skills, I guess. I used to host some really big parties back in the day,
Yeah, yeah. So
hundreds of
you,
people
yeah.
and
Tell
stuff
tell
like
me
that.
tell
And
me about the parties because
so I every year for my birthday, I would just throw a huge rager in the woods. It would last at least a week long, and over 1,000 people, and it was just DJs from all over. It was whole camping trip in the woods on a river. Good time.
so who were the officers of the organization and who were the you know?
Uh, one of my one of my best friends, Bakwas, BQSS. He's a good friend of mine, and he kind of was like a co-GM through a lot of it, and helped me out. Um, I've had so many officers in my guild throughout the years, but always like what I would specify as like class leaders to help guide other members in their class on how to play the role because I didn't have like the cream of the crop for picks of players on Chronos. There's already guilds raiding, and so I was picking up lobies, teaching them everything and trying to get them into raids. And a lot of them, I mean, some of them even turned out to be officers, I'm pretty sure. Maybe Spirit of Life. I think he joined at a really low level. Like not on that wasn't on Chronos. That was on
I
Classic
think that was
maybe?
classic. Yeah, I think that was
Yeah, yeah.
classic.
But
So
yeah,
was it
there's
more horizontal or more vertical, like the leadership? Like, were things split up between everybody, or was it kind of you kind of directing things?
um I mean I would direct a lot of it. My words the end say all, you know. If I would try to have the officers like handle a lot of the loot. After we switched to loot council later on, and that's where class leaders really had to step up in AQ. But before then, I mean, it was pretty easy. I feel like we really didn't know what we were doing. No one, everyone just wanted new weapons.
So speaking of DKP, this is a funny story, and I know I want you to set the record straight here. So how did this? What do DFT and DKP have to do with each other?
See, that's a big mistake a lot of guilds might run into that we did. So, DFT dropped on one of our first raids, and I ended up winning it. Of course, I bid on it. It was a BIS item, and I really only remember bidding against like a couple other people, and it went for fairly cheap. And come to find out, since I wasn't really, I didn't remember everything from vanilla, and I didn't realize how rare of a DFT drop was and how good it is on warriors, and so I, yeah, I won it, and it was the yeah, laughing stock of the game for quite a while on Chronos. Everyone remembers me as the hunter that got DFT on K3.
Yeah, that was Doom. Hey, Doomelf starting a group. You mean the guy with the DFT, the hunter with DFT?
Yeah, and a lot of people just thought I'd ninja'd it or something because I was a GM, but it was an open straight bid system and even donations, and I didn't donate to give myself DKP, and it just happened. I won it for like 1,000 or something. I don't know. It wasn't very much. There's people that had more that could have won it, at the time, and they didn't because they wanted other items. So everyone regretted it afterwards.
Okay, so what was TehBox's on the Chronos iteration? What was the goal? Was it a social guild? Was it casual? Was it competitive?
um, I'm always competitive when I play a video game. I always wanted to be the best. On Chronos, it was pretty hard. We never got any server first that I there was like Onslaught on the server, right? And Wipe Club, and there's some good good players. So we just wanted to finish the content, and I had goals of the game in the game of like getting my AQ mount, which I ended up achieving. Um,
Yeah, I have some screenshots that you sent me. Let me see if I can pull these up.
yeah, one's with the me with my mount.
Okay, so I got you in Iron Forge area with your bug mount,
Uh,
and I'll come back to
Oh
some of
yeah,
these. Uh,
there's one with the DFT picture. If you showed that off.
Let me see if I can get that one. You brought up some show and tell. Oh, there it is. Ah, I missed it.
Yeah,
But yeah, you have the DFT equipped.
really crappy gear. That's what is that? Lieutenant General PvP gear, boots and gloves with a tier 2 helm with a DFT. uh,
How
Funny
did
to
you
look back
guys
on.
handle recruitment on Chronos? Because the in some ways, even though it was a small server, there was still a fair amount of people on there. I think towards the end, the average was about 3K total. So what was your recruitment process?
Um, I recruited a lot. Other members stepped up and helped. But Quas was there to help a lot. Um, Running 20 mans always helped, and also pugging for our raids. I feel like we always were down men in raids. It just happened. You recruit 40 people. Not everyone makes it. The turnover rate on private servers is insane. After each phase, you lose a chunk of players. Um, so a lot of them we just recruited when they're a lower level and they just worked up into a raid slot. Um, I mean, I tried to. I mean, anyone that needed a guild, we were pretty much there. We had some rough members at times, and we pulled through. With casuals, I feel like there are some hardcore members. I mean, we have some good names like Cuddle Party in there. That's pretty well known, and a lot more. But it
Yeah, you
was
guys were sort of like the pillars of the server. You were always there, always plugging through it, and always made it happen.
yeah, I don't know how, honestly. We cleared all the content, and it was a blast. The best experience of playing World of Warcraft. The community's
Um,
fun.
did you have any sister guilds or do any sort of cooperation with anybody?
Um, I I know we did. I can't remember who. And there was a lot of beef with a lot of guilds too. More beef than I would say sister guilds.
Yeah, yeah. Evil stepsister guild.
World PvP was very popular, and guild events of wiping people and killing them with buffs was a common occurrence. People would kill us, and we would kill them. And sometimes, pretty sure it might have been even on Chronos, where I would befriend, the other faction to have them kill someone on or vice versa. It would be Horde. Sorry, I've been playing both. Yeah, befriend someone on the Horde to go kill an Alliance guild. It just things happen.
Yeah, I remember there was lots of weird bounties like that, and you'd get these whispers from people. Oh, so and so has a hit out on this person, and
I had a lot of bounties, I'm pretty sure. I forgot one of the last ones. There was a pretty big one for wiping my guild.
I
That might have been
remember
Valamir. Was that
it
Valamir
might have
that
been
did
Valamir.
that? Like offering up everything in their guild bank to wipe my guild, and
I remember
I
when we
mean,
were doing
PG Island is
Nax.
brutal.
When we did Nax, we'd all go to EPL. We'd land at the flight point, and they would only kill you.
Yeah, they would literally just target me. Oh, it was great. Yeah, getting around places was very hard once I made a name for myself, and I was a hunter with the bug mount and the DFT. I was loved.
So one of the things I remember from my time with you guys was the guild bank was very well stocked, and you were very generous with your time and the resources of the bank. So how did you manage it and accumulate all of those resources?
Um, I mean, I would farm nonstop on my guy to get gold, dire mall runs all the time, and that's how I sold you that book. Um, I think we started selling gear as well, and not only I'm pretty sure I did this on Chronos. I think I did it on Classic too, where if you sold an item in the raid, the person that got the deal, they'd get 50% of the cut, and the other half would go to the guild bank. And so it'd make people, if you're low on gold, you just had to advertise some stuff to sell. And I had a list, of stuff that was available, or they could just ask me, and we, and then we always had open spots in our raids too. So it wasn't hard to bring along another person. And sometimes like these people would even join the guild later on, which was
Yeah, so
nice.
you had a little commission system. And that was
Yep.
a lot easier to do in Classic because you could trade loot and stuff like that. And on Chronos, it was always really because on the old client, it was like sketchy. If you click the wrong person, you're screwed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The GMs are pretty friendly though with a lot of things. They were fun.
Yeah.
They helped out in a lot of situations. Um, damn, yeah, lots of good times. What were we talking about there?
The
Oh, the guild
guild.
bank. Um, yeah, and not only that, I planned ahead. I was always organized. So I was always looking, all the future dungeons and prepping for not only myself, everyone in the raid. And a lot of people did prep, but there's also a lot of people that never brought anything, or if we were bringing pugs, they didn't have anything. So like, let's say in Black Lair, fire protection potions, grenades, and AQ, shadow protection potions, nature. I mean, not only that, extra gear. I mean, I'd supply all the nature resistance, and I just tried to make it easier for everyone in the guild. If I was, once you look it up and know what you need, I would just multiply that, by 40 people and set a goal. If that's what I would want, that's what everyone else should have just in case. And I would send out stuff before raids and people that really needed it, just to keep them there. Not everyone had as much time to play the game as others, so some people would farm and donate a ton just to boost their DKP, and it would help out, everyone else in the guild.
So what about, let's see. So Phase 6 comes along. Nax is on the horizon. Um, do you remember anything about that time?
Um, Shoot, getting everyone had to get attuned to Nax, right? Farming the stones was always a big event. Really important to have enough throughout the whole history of Nax. Um, Getting all the frost resistance gear and just filling a raid. After that point, the turnover was insane. Everyone quit after AQ. We downed Cthulhu, and oh shoot, before I'm pretty sure this was on Kronos. I'm pretty sure I lost like a chunk of my members. 1 week into Cthulhu, it could have been Kronos, and we pogged like half a raid. Literally, random people, and we did a better run the next week with random pugs than we did with all the members that left. And it was amazing. And all those guys joined us, and we geared out a ton of people. I mean, super quick, and with next coming out right around the corner, and we just threw a lot of people loot early on to catch up. It's
So
crazy
Nax,
time.
the progression went pretty smooth. I mean, I remember we didn't have too much trouble in there. And then after, what about the third or fourth raid, people started dropping off, and
Yeah, yeah. It's just no one left on the server. Everyone was quitting. TBC was hopeful around the corner, and that's what I was hoping for, but it never came.
yeah.
So
So for anybody that isn't aware, Kronos was planning a TBC progression server. They were doing some testing, and then Classic release date was right around the corner. So this was like, what was, when did it come out? September, I think, that year. I'm not
I
sure,
don't I
but
don't know dates.
but yeah. As soon as Classic launched, it just everybody just went to Classic, and that was the
And
end of it.
I held out as long as possible and decided to pull the trigger. And I had to start fresh. I mean, most of my guildmates, since I wasn't really planning on going, a lot of them had other plans, and we've lost a lot of members through all those phases. So a lot of different groups were making their own guilds, and once Classic hit, I did have some members come over, Dime Time being one of them, and he stayed with me all the way through pretty much almost the end of Classic or TBC, which was awesome. Um, and I forgot what we are talking about.
Okay, so tell me about, why did you roll on Faerlina? Why did you go to a PvP server? What was?
Well, once you play on a server that dies, like Chronos, I tried to choose the server that wouldn't die. And I chose right. Except, it's just Horde there now, unfortunately. Uh, but it's not a dead server. So it was a good choice. And there was a lot of good players, streamers as well, which made it a lot of fun when you're running along and you see Asmongold and you decide to camp him for a few hours, or teabagging Swifty. That's on his stream. I had to, kill him and it came back to his body on his stream, and I'm sitting there teabagging him. Uh, it's just it made the game so much more fun, and you could jump on someone's stream and troll them. So it was a different aspect of the game that I wasn't used to on Chronos, which made it more fun. But the community was good, but it's such a big community where other guilds you're not close to as many people, I feel like, as you were on Chronos, because you're PvPing with the same people every day, even in battlegrounds. So
Did you, when you created a character on Faerlina, did you go as soon as possible to form the guild charter?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so you knew you
Yeah.
were gonna go all in and repeat the GM
Yeah.
role.
I'm pretty sure I was just like, yeah, if I want to do this, I want to do it right. I don't think I joined any other guild previously to that. Um, I already knew how to do everything, and I've been in other guilds, and I've seen how other guilds are ran, just doing world bosses on Chronos, with some people that like to yell on the mic, and I run a much chiller guild. I don't really get angry at anyone. Um, so I just wanted to have fun playing and running a guild. It was fun. I had a blast with it.
Okay,
Except
so
recruiting. That always sucked. But
well, it
I don't
was
know.
easier on classic for sure. It had to be, right?
Um, yeah, but I mean, for sure, it was definitely easier than on Chronos. Um, there's always people, but it was still there's so many other guilds, and if you're not in top, like in top of the logs, you're it's hard to get people. Luckily, we started speed running on Classic, where we were having like 30-minute blacking layers.
Yeah. So tell me about what the guild started as. What you wanted to do at the beginning. Um, what kind of culture you wanted, and versus how it changed over time in classic.
I was just a lot more strict since I was able to, handpicked a little bit more people than on Chronos. Um, and I had rules set up. I already had a goal that I was gonna push. On Chronos, I didn't know what I was doing most of the time. It was a learning experience, leading a guild for the first time. Um, since I had all that experience and I knew everything that was gonna happen, it made it was more relaxing, more fun, and I just wanted to be the best. I just, min max everything and try to make a name for yourself because now you're competing in the logs like a lot more guilds. And we were never and we had some of the fastest kills on the server, but all of, Warcraft, it's hard to be number one. There's a lot of competition.
Yeah. So would you say that? Because I remember Zen, uh, the warrior.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
came in at some point, and what? How big of an impact did that have on how the guild approached speedruns? Because I remember he was really into that sort of playstyle.
So I was also advertising on Discord servers, like the Warrior Discord. I forgot what it's called.
Fight
Um
Club.
Fight Club, that's right. I think it was through that where he saw me posting for, like-minded hardcore raiders, and he said he came from a dream state EU and tanked for some of their stuff on something. I don't know. But he knew what to do sometimes. But he could hold threat like no other. So it made our Blackwing Lair runs, our Molten Cores. At the time, I think it was number one in the world for like tanking like uh Reg back in the day. He was one of the best, and he got geared out and left his guild. I don't know what the whole thing behind it was, but that should have been the first warning when I got him because he main tanked for us, and I mean, you feed the tank gear. I mean, definitely when you're trying to parse and go fast, he needs everything, and the other tanks do too. Yeah.
So that was around the time when you guys had those really good clear times. You had a 35-minute
Yeah.
BWL, something like that.
Yeah, I think maybe 34. I don't know. What are you pulling up logs on me? Getting
No, no,
exact
no.
times?
No. I remember it was something something around there.
Yeah, they're pretty quick. Uh, but they weren't all quick, of course. And
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot of learning and getting a lot of people on the same page with engineering, and I mean everyone's throwing grenades at the same time and sapping and yeah.
Did you guys do PTR for any of that stuff in BWL and
Yeah.
IQ?
Um, I yes, I think we did some black. Yeah, you were in the Blackwing Lair BTR. I remember seeing you in there, which is crazy that we were even doing that back then. But yeah, since I had some experience on Chronos with PTR, and Blizzard didn't have one for Classic at the time, so we all went on and I got pretty much almost the whole guild on there, and we were doing it on Chronos, which was way harder.
Yeah.
And then what
So
Classic released.
we had about half of our raid um, going to PTR sessions, and then we merged with you guys and met halfway, and we had this sort of PTR collaboration to get prepared for stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep. And I
I
never
remember
got DFT.
you did not get DFT in Classic,
No, I did not.
but you have a DST right now in TVC, right?
Yes, I got that really early on.
With your DKP?
No, no. In TBC, I ended up stepping down as a GM, and the guild split into other guilds, and I ended up joining a guild called the Vibe, and I was like an officer in it. I helped do a lot of the stuff. Um, and there was some slacking in leadership in a lot of spots, so I helped out a ton, which I still had fun doing. And they proud me the DST, so I got it was like second week, which was nice.
So what happened after Nax before TVC? It was still TehBox. How did you guys do in Nax? I don't remember.
Um, the next was great. We had pull up some classic cards. I didn't have too many pictures in here. For our next clear, I think we even might have had reasons in here. He always seemed to be with us after Kronos. Yep, he's over on the left there.
I'm trying to find the one of the Nax
KT
kills.
clear.
Yeah, there's one.
And
Yeah, there's the classic one.
there's Gambard in there too. Was he on Kronos? Well,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, he
remember.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, I played with. I forget.
So,
Played with people for a long time.
what was the player base like between Classic and Chronos? Did you have to do more of that same kind of hands-on teaching stuff like how you did on K3 and Classic?
Um, it was since Bequas was our he played warrior and he helped a lot with, and we stacked warriors. That was just the name of the game through a lot of classic. That's just the way to go. Shamans, warriors, and he was really good, and we had some really good players. Um, so we didn't really have to teach him really anything, just kind of guide him in ways to go, like specs or I don't know. Everyone had their own way they wanted to go with stuff, but we just were strict on, you're gonna go that way, or you know, it's just if you want a spot, that's the way you go. And everyone did their role, and everyone had a blast in it. And we
Did you have
got,
any? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Did you have any rivalries with other guilds in Classic? I want to Vampire something was one of those. I think you mentioned.
Oh yeah, yeah, Vampire Clan was yeah, that was a big one. And there was just World PvP where I mean, people were killing each other for buffs and constantly dispelling. And it wasn't like, so most people in the guild, there's a requirement to have Warlock, level 20 Warlock alts. So, and most people had a second account with all Warlocks on it, and we would get to random spots, and there's guilds that just constantly dispel you nonstop.
Yeah, I
And
remember
I
you
would
guys
still
had
get
a.
targeted all the time. It was just like Chronos almost, but I didn't have my mount anymore. But it was, yeah, it was really competitive server
Yeah, you
early
guys had
on.
some summoning spots like on top of the mushrooms or like clipped inside the mushrooms in EPL. I remember.
Yeah, and under the Nax entrance, we would spend days just jumping up mountains and I mean, crazy AQ spots. I think we were the first under Nax, and then yeah, the Alliance got under there, so we just had to get as many Horde under there as possible, and it was that was nice though. We held that spot for a long time. Yeah, it put a whole new, different aspect to the game. I don't know, just finding new spots than what I was used to on Chronos.
Okay, so let's talk about like rule enforcement and people management. How did you deal with people that didn't have the greatest attitude or weren't showing up prepared? And then the opposite of that, like people that went above and beyond. How did you like reward them? I guess with loot, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, once we did a loot council through all of Classic, there was no DKP. So people were rewarded with loot. Um, and all the officers, the class leaders, they helped with that. What's going where, and it was pretty evenly distributed. Obviously there's some issues here and there. Sometimes some people are pretty greedy with stuff, but it happens.
So, was there any situations where you had to kick somebody?
Ah, I'm sure. I shoot, I've kicked a handful of people. Some just disrespecting me. Even officers where they're not listening to me. Like if we have a meeting and I don't even know what it was about this one, but one of my officers, he did the complete opposite of what I told him to do and started, causing drama on Discord and in the game. And I just booted him. That's I was. Sick of it. It was literally right after I just talked to him about it. And but usually I don't do that. There's always a few.
So, what did you learn
Oh, I
anything?
kicked reasons. I thought it wasn't really. It was around. DFT. He wanted to buy it. He wasn't first in line for it, and he wanted to buy it, and it caused a big storm. And I think I was like, hey, dude, like he kept on trying to buy from different guilds. I already geared him out. We decked him out and early in Blackwing Lair. And he's even with us in obviously in Nax here, but at that point we need members and Reasons is always there with an alt. He's always reliable. He's a great player. Uh a great guy. But I just told him, like, sorry dude, like you should look for another guild. That's I put it nicely. He's still my friend. Um but he's always there when you need him. He just didn't he wasn't mixing well with the guild. I try to keep a pretty chill guild, and if you know Reasons, he can be outspoken at times.
Yeah, he can definitely come up with some justifications for whatever he wants, whatever it may be. I mean, he was one of those guys with 12 accounts, and he's got 8 warriors, and like on Chronos, we played with him on Chronos, and he would have like, oh, we need my warrior lost world buffs. Let me bring in the other one.
Yeah, yeah, he always went above and beyond, and he was a competitive player. He knew what he was doing, which is why I mean, one of our first like KT kills, I think on might have been Kronos. I mean, he was in there and he helped a lot. Um, but
So what's next? We got Wrath right around the corner. TBC's in phase 6. And you're in this new guild now. So how has that been? What made you go into to this new guild after Vibe?
Um, yeah, vibe kind of just it wasn't, up to expectations. Um, so we found another guild. It's up fresh, and it once I joined them, I got right into the raid 2 at first, and then raid 1, and it was such a good group of people, and it made the game really fun because they were all really good players. I had to be really organized as a raid leader with guild docs, and they are just everyone already knows what they're doing in that guild, which less structure, but it works better somehow. I when you just have so many like-minded people. They've had good pickings of guild members and raiders.
What do you think that is? What do you think the process is for them and picking these people that, I mean, it sounds like it's really hands off, and I've always thought that, if you have a guild where everybody's, like you said, on the same page and they know what they need and what they don't, then there's less room for guild, for loot drama. And but I mean, the problem is that then you're not rewarding performance. But I guess if everybody's performing at the same level, it's like, what's the difference?
Yeah, when I joined them in TBC, it was during AQ or Tempest Keep, my bad. uh they were rolling gear off. That's just how the loot worked. And it was crazy. I'd just never seen such a high performance guild. They were casual, but I mean, in some aspects, they're more of like hardcore. First, we Sunwell, we put a lot of time into it, and now it was fast clears towards, after everyone learned it, we cleared it on the first day, and that's just nice.
And you've got
Um,
some cool loot from that. You have in our picture here, you have the legendary bow.
yeah, yeah,
So how's your
yeah.
gear progressing? Are you full biz pretty much?
Missing a handful of pieces, but I wasn't too stressed on, what we got. We ended up moving to Loot Council, um, and which is fine. But we stopped raiding a couple weeks ago, and not everyone got what they wanted. You can still, there's still time to run
Okay,
GDKPs
so they quit
and whatnot,
raiding
but
for Wrath, basically.
yeah, yeah, they're taking a break right now.
So why'd they go back to Loot Council if the other system was working?
I think they just knew there was like shorter time in like the PvP season or something, with Wrath coming out. They yeah, they just wanted to take a break. And GDKPs, you can get a lot of money, and it's good preparation for Wrath of the Lich King. When
What
people are making 12K in a Sunwell run, it's it's nice.
do you what's your
So,
opinion on GDKPs? Um, because in some ways it does take away from what a guild is. Like you actually don't need a guild to get gear, So it's like it's whether or not you want to look for gear or community. What do you how do you feel about that?
um, I in some of our runs, I remember doing GDKPs when we would bring in buyers sometimes, but I've actually never ran in a GDKP really like a full one, like everyone's bidding. Um, that I can remember, maybe, but it's if that's how you want to run it, it's pretty cool. People make bank. We sold gear, and Snuts, he divided the gold out to a lot of people, and I had to have ran one, with them, and yeah, it was nice. We just got gold, and I
So
didn't need anything. I think we did like some Blackwing layers, possibly, or Tempest Keeps, and we would just make gold. So we
Snuts is
already had everything.
the GM now.
Yeah, and Sup Fresh, yeah.
So he's a pretty well-known player, you told me, right? He's
Yeah. He's pretty sure he's like won some BlizzCons, and I should have looked up more on him before this, but he's a really good PvP player. He's pretty well known, and he's a big streamer. There's a lot of big names in the guild.
Are you gonna go into Wrath with them, or what are you thinking?
Oh shoot. Yeah, at this point, yeah, but I'm kind of on edge about it because a lot going on in my life. So we'll see. I really want to raid with them and stay with them. Uh, but a break also sounds pretty nice. Not raiding right now has been nice, since we've stopped Sunwell. Um, so we'll see. It's kind of up in the air right now. I have a lot of good gear, so leveling does sound fun, and I might just get sucked back into it. I was already planning on, the release date of Wrath and getting out and playing. And we'll just see. It's kind of up in the air right now, but being with Subfresh, I I probably would have quit the game after Vibe if it wasn't for them. And so staying with them, I already know I'm gonna have fun if I do play. It just takes up a lot of time, which everyone knows if they play this game.
What looking back, what are some of the best memories from any point in WoW?
Oh, best memories. Uh, I mean, some of our fast runs and just Blackwing Lair or AQ. Um, a lot of the members. I, I don't know. I have a lot of good memories. To name a few, it's hard. Uh, met a lot of good friends. That alone is, priceless. So it's a hard question.
Yeah, it is hard. There's so much that happens in
uh,
WoW, you know, it's
I mean, on like this KT kill, I'm pretty sure when we killed that was I just randomly had that picture up. Uh, what was that on? Shoot, one of them said on Chronos. I got the bow and we killed it. Yeah, I dropped the first night on my birthday, and yeah, that was pretty memorable. That was a good night.
okay.
I've always like raided on my birthday the last few years, like pretty much since I started playing. Once I stopped throwing that big party, it's all been WoW.
WoW
So
became the new party.
it literally has.
So I'm flipping through some of these screenshots, and I know we can't really synchronize it here, but I have one of an Ani kill, which is probably from K3.
On K3. Oh yeah, that's um all TehBox members. With- Right? Sure, yeah. Is that K? That can't be K3. Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
pretty sure it
There's meta
is. Yeah,
DPS in it. Yeah.
yeah. Bada's in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Meta DPS. My brother's in there. Uh, there should
And
be
then
cuddle parties in there too. Yeah.
so the next one,
Armada.
it's a rag kill. Um, yeah, Cuddle's in that one. Shout out to Cuddle Party, who is always a helpful, friendly guy and a great player.
Yeah, those are some good picks from back in the day. We got a kill
So,
in Saf, which was KT kill in there too. Cthulhu kill, and then with my mount, which was a pretty cool picture. Good
um,
memories.
we have a classic one. You got War Chief's blessing. Everybody's going there to
Uh,
kill Razor Gore.
Getting my mount, that was a good memorable moment. I got that picture in there. I don't K3 community. What is that? Turning in the mount. That was so much work on Chronos, and I can't believe that happened. That was a big goal of mine. And also, I mean, getting the legendary bow too on it's up fresh recently.
Okay.
But some good picks.
So looking back, if you were gonna do the GM role again, let's just say it was whatever, classic TVC, whatever. I guess anything. What would you change the next time?
Um, so uh, I really, I'm back and forth on GDKP and Loot Council. There's so many good going both ways, which it's really like what officers I recruit at the time, how much effort they want to put in. If I see me being a GM again, it'd be probably doing classic all over again, and I would let my guild officers and I decide that. I don't know if I could. There's so many good things about it. Like I offered DKP back in the day for farming my mount when we were running Blackwing Lair, and I mean, yeah. I mean, people that wanted more DKP, they got it. I mean, people out there farmed for that. It was, I mean, shit. It worked. On a loot council guild doing that, like, I don't know. I wasn't able to do it on Faerlina. It was impossible. I had people wanting to help me, but Faerlina was just too hard of a server. So it's hard to like pick up a community of people to help you. And I don't know. When people are all rewarded in something, they try harder, obviously. So
Well, if you did a full GAKP, I mean, essentially you're just kind of trading money between players in that guild. So, what about a hybrid system where you have one team that's your regular Loot Council raid team, and then you have like an alt group where you take in pugs, or to bring in that gold for the guild.
so I mean running 2 raids is just so much work. I don't know if I would even put that much time into it again. Put a lot of time into World of Warcraft. So I'd probably mainstream it more and just, you know, either or for deciding loot really doesn't matter. It really depends on the members that I get. I want to try to be strict, like I was on Classic and really push people. And we did on Chronos too. And people really had to be, try hard to get all those Chronos bosses down. Um, just kind of see where things go.
So it'd be you'd either change the loot system or you would change the officer setup. You would have it more of
I would do
responsibility.
class leaders again. I feel like that always works. It's just, I mean, another set of eyes looking at players is always nice. You put someone in charge, if they want to do it, of course. If no one steps up for that role and you push someone into class leader, like an officer, it's it's always rough. So it's just finding players. So whatever server I'm on, if it's a private server, last time it was pretty rough, but we got players over time. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask you to rate some stuff from 1 to 5. And I'm still working on this, but so 5 being most important. What do you rate the mission statement slash goals? Having goals, how important is that?
5.
5. Okay. What about progression in terms of either being, having trying to aim for server first or speed?
I mean, a 5. People should always, I feel like, try at least.
Okay, and
Uh,
then what about guild culture?
um, definitely I mean, like community of like how friendly people are, like
Yeah,
that's super important. But there's always a toxic player. You try to make it as good as possible.
okay. And then lastly, like outside of raid activities, PvP, dungeon farming, social type stuff, you know, hanging out in Discord.
Oh, it's so important.
Okay.
Definitely if you're running a guild, definitely a 5. And you got to make groups and have everyone like and play together. Doing the 20 mans and everything. And people have to play together. Definitely on classic. You have 40 people. You got to really be open and talk to everyone. So being active is always good in Discord.
Yeah, it's interesting because some other people that I've interviewed, they, you know, they put different numbers on some of those things, you know, like I guess in a more casual environment, you know, progression and
Uh,
speed are not that important.
I feel like I love trying to always push faster. I mean, and you really don't even need to tell everyone that, but
Well,
you
sometimes
keep on pulling. You just keep on pulling faster and faster. Take a mana pot, take a dark rune. Let's pull again, and let's just keep on trying.
yeah, I mean, sometimes you get people that are like, "Why are we pulling so fast? Like, there's no need for this. We're just trying to clear the content," you know?
Oh no, we got shit to do. We're trying to clear as fast as we can, so you can go far more and a PvP or get out the game and play with your family. I mean, finishing a dungeon fast is important to me, and I like yeah, I want to get done fast. I have a daughter, you know. If it's I have her, I want to be able to be done gaming quick.
Now,
And
has she had any exposure to WoW? Is she going to be a WoW player?
I don't know. We'll see. That's up to her. She's seen me play it, of course. Um, the nights I have to raid right before bed, but yeah, we'll see. I hopefully there's a better MMORPG out there and not just WoW because I've been playing this game for way too long and doing another private server is just uh, I mean going back through it, the new content that I'm not getting into it. Personally, it's just not my thing. That's why I'm kind of iffy on Wrath of the Lich King. That's when I quit back in the day. So kind of just playing it by just seeing what happens. But after Wrath, I'm definitely not playing at all. I might level a little bit in Wrath. I might get sucked into a couple raiding, maybe raid once, but I don't know. Feeling right now, I'd rather step away for a minute.
Okay. Well, I guess this question doesn't really apply too much, but because I was normally asking it to season and mastery players, but if they did a classic too, would you want to see anything different, like classic plus, you know, that kind of stuff?
Um, jeez. If they did it again, I mean, I feel like they already messed it up the first time. So I I don't think I'd ever honestly go back to that, no matter what they did. For world buffs are, I feel like, are a thing in the game that are important. And also even early on, like the battlegrounds, going to the battlegrounds just to queue up, which we never even saw that. You don't see that even on private servers. You don't see that. So I feel like there's no way of fixing where they're at now to even make it worthwhile to go back. But a private server is more fun in itself just because it's a smaller community. And my expectations are usually less than what Blizzard would do. And I mean, just the other day, did you hear about them like resetting
No, what
the
happened?
arena? They reset arena, like the season. I was doing arenas with some friends, and all of a sudden, the season ends like 24 days early or something.
So how does that work?
And
Did you lose all the points and all that stuff, or?
they end up reverting it, but and I'm already capped in points. I don't need anything, but it's other people, I mean, that are actually ranking. Everyone was freaking out. And Blizzard, I mean, they make more mistakes, I feel like, than a private server. Which Kronos I felt like was perfect. I don't know. And they did I love the graphics updates and some other things, and but I mean we'll see how things go. It was just sometimes too easy. I don't
All
know.
right. Well, we can wrap it up here. Is there anything that you want to promote? Any? I can just put stuff in the YouTube description. Any links or anything, or that if you want to mention anything, nothing.
No. I
Okay.
don't know. I mean TehBox. Uh the
The
basic
box is
stuff,
the
I don't
best.
know. You can make up some description or add something. Uh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for coming on. It's Doomelf from
Yeah.
TehBox, and
Doomtroll now. On the
Doomtroll,
Horde
Doomtroll now.
side. Well, yeah.
All right, that's it. See ya.
Well, that was fun. Thanks, Mobs.